I believe that we're kind of like cultured to think that our only option is to go to school, get a job, keep your head down and do your work. And other people, or people who are born into money or more familiar with money, are kind of taught to be bosses. Like they train their kids to be your kids' bosses.
Right.
And very intentional about wanting to train my children to be able to be the person in charge, to be the one that's creating opportunity for themselves and creating opportunity for other people, because it is really empowering. And I know, like, we're in a space in society where we talk a lot about like social justice, and we see everything that's going on, and the game is just not the same for those of our hue. It just isn't. So it's important for us to take up space. Like, it's important for us to be economically empowered, because money talks. Ownership talks. People listen when you can actually do something behind whatever words that you're saying. So I think that's really important to kind of like lean towards. Welcome, everyone. My name is Lovener, and this is a space for wealth, wellness, and wholeness, all the tools you'll need to create a life you love. Today, I'm so excited to be talking with my special guest here, Rhonda German. I've been watching her on social media pretty much, and you know that I love to see a melanated boss. And I just love what she's been doing, her multiple streams of income situation she has going on, and just the entrepreneurship mindset and approach to life. And I thought you'd be able to drop some gems for us, and we can just talk about her journey and learn some things from her. So Rhonda, welcome. And I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself with that smooth accent you got going on.
Hey everybody. As Lovener stated, my name is Rhonda German, and I guess I'm a boss, a mom boss, a girl boss, any kind of boss you can think of. That's me. And I am married. Been married for 6 years, and I have 3 kids. I have an 18-year-old. She's class of 2020 senior. Prayers for them. I have a 12-year-old, and I have a 4-year-old toddler who's really the boss of everything here. He really runs everything, but they all keep me on my toes. I am the owner of several businesses. I do jewelry, paparazzi accessories. I am a real estate agent, and I sell magnetic eyelashes, and I'm actually working on something else. Like, what more can I possibly do? But I'm working on something else, and all of this is in addition to my full-time job of 16 years.
Oh, that's amazing. I know a lot of people have trouble. Like, when I talk to people about this whole push that I'm always on about, like, multiple streams of income, about securing yourself so that if you need to walk away from something, you're not going to feel the hit as hard. It seems so overwhelming. And then to combine that with the fact that you have other personal responsibilities, being a wife, that's a whole job, child.
Right.
And being a mom, it's a lot. But I think there's something about people like us where it's just like, we just persevere. Like, we just keep pushing. You will be exhausted out of your mind, but you're like, I got to make this happen. And my question to you is, what is the reason that you decided to become an entrepreneur and have multiple streams of income? Like, what would you say is your why?
Well, you know what? how did it start? I mean, I've always dabbled in a little bit of something, but it's never been serious until I started with paparazzi. And that was my like first real direct sales business. I've always been the person, I don't want to sell anybody something that I won't buy myself. And my husband calls me cheap. I just say that I am, what's a good word for it? There you go. Or I don't even know if it's
your money.
Yeah, but
my husband calls me the same thing, and that's all right.
Yeah, they'll be all right. That's why I have it.
Right, exactly.
But I mean, I just loved the opportunity to be in control of what I can make. You know, I'm not limited to just the salary that my full-time job gave me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started getting people on my team, I found out that I loved leadership. I loved helping other people. So that's what kind of helped me stay in that. And I really didn't even get into like full entrepreneurship until my husband, he's in sales too. So he's always been selling something, home security, you know, whatever. So he actually pushed me into real estate. He mentioned it. I never thought about it ever.
Oh, really?
No. And he was like, you know, I bet you would do real good at it. And I was like, oh, really? You think so? When does the next class start? So it was like a spur of the moment thing. I called. And, you know, I didn't even have the money to start the class really, but then, you know, you have 401k, there's benefits. I called, I said, hey, I got this class I want to take. Can I get the money to do it? Mm-hmm. I got the money probably the next day. I signed up and it was on from there. But I love the real estate. I mean, it's a passion that I never even knew that I had. Oh, wow. And, but like I said, I just love being in control of my finances. I love knowing that if something ever happened with my full-time job, I have something to fall back on. So that's really my motivation right there, because in the day and time that we live in, people are losing jobs like crazy. I mean, I've been blessed to still be employed during this pandemic, but it felt good to know that also, you know, if something did happen with my full-time job, I have something to fall back on. So as long as I know that I can, you know, make money with these multiple streams of income, I'm gonna keep doing it. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep adding.
And just I can imagine you learn so much with all the different things that you dabble into, not just about the industry, but just about, like you said, leadership, about yourself, about money. And that's really valuable too. So what would you say that you love about it? Well, we see what you love about it, but what would you say that are is the one thing that you love the most, right? And then the thing that you hate the most about having all of this going on?
The thing that I hate the most is not having the balance that I know I should have. You know, that is the hardest thing, and I'm still trying to figure that out. So, you know, because you have people pulling in every direction. You have your you know, your husband in one direction, you have your kids in the other direction, you have, you know, your extended family in another direction, then you have your clients. Like, there's only 24 hours in a day. And I have all, you know, I did it to myself, but I did it to myself, but just trying to balance it all. That's what I hate the most. But with the entrepreneurship, what I love about it is, you know, just being in control of my future. That's what I love.
Absolutely. I love that. So do you have like an end goal in mind?
Yes, 100% entrepreneurship. I will not be working for somebody for the rest of my life. I have a plan.
Oh, nice.
I
I
have a
think that's
plan.
so important because like just in relation to just the way the world is right now with this whole pandemic that happened, and then you have how many 30 million people that are unemployed right now, or
Right,
just people
man.
who are underemployed or whatever. It's like you want to have some semblance of control over what happens in your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then also it's like the freedom that comes with kind of carving your own path is worth more than the money that you make, really, because
Mm-hmm.
it is, it's so unpredictable, like what's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen in life. So I think that's a great thing to have in mind, and I'm glad that I had such a like a ready answer, because I think a lot of times we like get into stuff and we don't really have an end goal. Like I know for
Mm-hmm.
me, I have things on my mind, like I want to get to a point where I can retire my parents, where my husband could work for himself again, where I want my kids to have options. Like when they get older, I want them to have something to take over. I want to own stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes. Yes, that's very important. And not for your kids to be able to say that, I can get whatever I want because mommy makes all this money, or they think mommy makes all this money.
Mhm.
But, just so that they will know the value of working hard.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing.
And I believe that we're kind of like cultured to think that our only option is to go to school, get a job, keep your head down and do your work. And other people, or people who are born into money or more familiar with money, are kind of taught to be bosses. Like they
Yeah.
train their kids to be your kids' bosses. And
Right.
very intentional about wanting to train my children to be able to be the person in charge, to be the one that's creating opportunity for themselves and creating opportunity for other people, because it is really empowering. And I know like we're in a space in society where we talk a lot about like social justice, and we see everything that's going on, and the game is just not the same for those of our hue. It just isn't. So it's important
not.
for us to take up space. Like it's important for us to be economically empowered, because money talks.
Yeah.
Ownership talks. People listen when you can actually do something behind whatever words that you're saying. So
Right.
I think that's really important to kind of like lean towards, building that legacy and making sure that your kids just understand the value of entrepreneurship, the value
Right.
of working for themselves, and being able, if they want to, like it's not for everybody.
Exactly. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
But at least knowing that you have that option.
That's it. And that's what I try to show my daughter, before you jump into this college thing head first, think about it.
Yeah.
A college degree these days is not necessary to be able to make a living.
You just
It's
wind up
not.
with debt, and
That's
then
it.
you can't get a job to replace the debt. Like, why are we doing this? We're on like a
Mm-hmm.
hamster on a wheel. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not
That's what
against college, but
right.
think about it, like you said.
I'm not either. I have college debt, and all I have is an associate's degree. If
Mhm.
I knew then what I know now, I definitely don't think I would be in the same. I know I wouldn't be in the same space today. Things would be a whole lot different for me if I knew back then what I know now. And that's why I try to, and I try to tell my daughter, I'm not just, trying to be, the mean parent or the strict parent, that they think you're trying to be. I've been through this stuff. We're not just telling you stuff just to be talking. We learned these lessons, learn from us. You don't have to go out here and make these same mistakes.
Yeah, we have a bad habit of just doing things for the sake of doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you're supposed to do. But it's like, but is that working for you though?
Right.
Does that work out?
Exactly.
So how are you just doing the same thing and expecting different results? They haven't worked for that. So when it comes to like being a mom, this is something that we have in common. Like you're a veteran compared to me. Like I'm just getting started over here. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old who believe that they are in charge of my life and my decisions and everything in this house. So how do you balance? Is that a thing?
No.
Like what is a typical day look like for you? Like how is that all working out? How does it
Girl, well, like I said,
how you doing, girl?
I'm still trying to figure it out for sure. I mean, I tell myself every day, I've bought planners. I say, you know, beginning of the year, I'm going to start writing down my schedule. I'm going to start penciling in this time and that time. Girl, it has not worked out yet. When you find out, you let me know. But day to day is hectic because I'm trying to do so many things at one time. So when I do figure out that balance, I'm sure everything will go a whole lot smoother from that point.
I feel like I have done just about the same, like the planner situation. I love planners. I have so many.
I do too.
But they're cute and they're just like there being cute.
Yep, that's it. Especially now.
Right. I don't even know. Like, I feel like some days I feel like I'm so on top of things and I'm in charge and I'm just like you can't tell me that I couldn't run this whole country myself if I wanted to, right?
Girl.
That's another story. But other days, I'm just like, I quit. I don't want to do this. Nothing is working. I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. It's just too much. And then I'm just like, oh, I've come too far to turn back now.
Absolutely. But I have days where I'm like, I'm going to write me a to-do list. I'm going to write down everything that I'm going to write down everything. My husband just got home. I'm going to write down everything that I have to do today. And I am going to go down this list check by check to make sure I get it done. Girl, the list never gets written. But I'm going to figure it out one day. You have to, because, you know, you get to a point where you're so involved in your work and these outside things, then, you know, your family starts to suffer and you don't want that. So you gotta figure it out. I have to figure it out.
I'm definitely like a list person. I have, you see these like whiteboards in here.
Yeah.
I them in here. And
that looks great.
Have that one. It's a to-do list that's never been used, but it's there for decoration, I guess. Well, I have found, because part of my business is like consulting with different businesses and trying to get their infrastructure straightened out and get them to scale and grow and all of that. And I find that I'm really good at doing that for others. But I really have a challenge with maintaining it for myself. And even when I hire assistants or I have people working with me, they don't necessarily have the same investment in my business that I do. And so things fall by the wayside. But I found that what works for me is if I like take the night before and kind of like write down all the things I'm doing the next day, it really helps. The thing is, I don't always necessarily go through the list, and I don't always keep the order, but I try.
And that's what counts, right?
Yeah, and then some days it never happens, and then
my some days are all the days.
What is happening over here? My goodness. So, is there any advice that you would give to other moms when it comes to just like going after your goals and making sure that you're doing the things that you want to do? Because I think there's an expectation that comes with being a wife and a mom that you're just kind of like putting everybody else before yourself, and
before
then
yourself.
like you may possibly make the list one day in the future, but it's really hard to kind of like take time for yourself and to think about like what your aspirations and your goals are. So is there any advice that you would like to share about how you've been able to do that? And I'm sure it's like still like always a work in progress, but what are your thoughts on that?
Definitely still a work in progress, but I mean, ladies, moms, wives, definitely go for your dreams. You know, don't let anybody, even a husband, tell you what you can't do, you know, because you don't ever want to feel like, you know, get later down in life and start to regret that you didn't do certain things for yourself, or that the kids have left, they've grown up and they've gotten out of the house. Now you don't have anything for yourself, you know, so definitely go for your dreams. Just work hard to get it done, because nobody else can live your life for you. You got to do it yourself. So make the best of it, you know?
Yeah, that's a good one. Nobody else can live your life for you.
Right. Nobody.
So if you look back on your journey and just like all the things that you've learned and all the missteps and probably mistakes that you've made, what is one thing that you would do differently?
That's easy. Get more organized.
Oh, I know.
Get more organized.
Okay, so what is one thing that you want to do that you haven't done?
I want to travel more. I definitely want. Yeah, I want to travel more, you know, benefit from the fruits of your labor. You know, one thing, we do not just work to pay bills, and that's what I'm learning. And, you know, that's, you know, really that's just what I'm deciding.
I feel like you are me and I am you. I really do, because that was my whole plan this year, actually. I had this goal. I took my husband on a birthday vacation in January to Mexico. That was our first leg. We had started like last year. We went to like the Dominican Republic, and then we did like a cruise. I was getting into my little travel zone, and then the apocalypse came, and I'm just over here like going to the backyard, and that's not see. It's going nowhere.
Yes, here comes Corona. Just messing stuff up. But yeah, that's definitely my plan, to travel more. You know, my husband and I didn't really get a honeymoon, so I definitely want to. Girl, 6 years later, we still ain't went on.
We're both married about 6 years. That's so funny.
Yes, and it, you know, it's time. The time is now. We just got to do it as soon as Corona leaves or lets up or whatever she decides to do. I'm going to hopefully 2021, definitely kicking off the travel. 2020 has been a year of restoration and, you know, getting prepared to be able to do things without having to worry about it later. And that's one of the things I'm setting my family up to be able to do. You know, no regrets. Don't want to live regretting anything.
I love that. I love that. I think that's so important. I always talk to my husband about this, because I feel like so many people get to the end of their lives and they're so exhausted. You put in 40, 50 years to a job, and then you're 60, 70 years old, and it's like you can't really enjoy the fruits of your labor because you're tired and you don't want to be here by yourself.
Right. That's why I went out and bought that car.
Yeah. So while I'm over here saving our coins and you talking about me, guess what? We're able to get that vehicle you wanted, young man. That's it. And you don't have a bill now. Like,
right.
It's, you know, we went on the trip, right?
Exactly.
On the credit card. Okay.
Exactly.
So they love us. They love it. They just want to say something.
Gotta have something to say.
So I guess my next question would be, it's kind of similar to what I asked you before. Like, when it comes to like self-care. And I think it's hard because kids and you have a hubby. Oh, no worries. I got 2 of those. They just walk into my meetings and
telling you.
My lap.
No. I don't even know what he's talking about.
And it's like daddy will be there, but somehow.
Girl, I'm like, I was telling my husband the other night, it's just like he's so attached to me. I mean, my husband was telling, I get up for work in the morning, 7:30. I probably have 15 minutes before CJ opens the door, and he's out. Yeah, he's out here. What are we gonna eat for breakfast? What are we gonna eat for lunch? Just so that the but the self-care is important, and I don't do enough of it, but I have decided, and I've started probably in the last month or so, taking care of myself, you know, even if it's just going into my bedroom for an hour by myself, because we're limited to what we can do right now.
Yeah.
But you gotta have that self-care. You're gonna go crazy. You gotta have that you time, that me time, even if it's just jumping in the car and riding around the block a couple times. You have to, or you will go insane. You'll feel like everything is crashing in on you because nothing is ending. There's always something. So if you don't take that time and that care for yourself, you'll go crazy.
Yeah. I think that's so important. And I know it's like a lot of times when we say self-care, people think about like going to a therapist, or they think about getting a massage. And sometimes it's really just like having a couple minutes by yourself.
That's it.
Like regroup. Because it's just like overstimulation almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much to do.
Because as the mom or as a wife, there's so much that is expected of you, and people may or may not want to realize this, but we have a lot more on our plates than our hubbies do.
Girl, yes.
We do. So that pressure sometimes it's crazy. And, I really had to, it took some time for me to show my husband some things, but you have to set boundaries with them, just like they have to set boundaries with you.
Right.
And as a wife and a mom, boundaries are so important
That's a whole conversation by itself, my friend.
A whole nother conversation.
It really is, because I know, we went through a period in our relationship where it was just like you're almost trying to live up to what you think you're supposed to be, and it's just like not reasonable. It's not reasonable. There are 2 people here. Why am I so overloaded and so overwhelmed? And you going to work and you chill. Are you chilling? What is chilling? Like, what is chilling? I'm pregnant. I'm working. I'm gonna go, Bridget.
Yeah. Not only that, you work in multiple jobs. You're still cooking, and I tell my husband, hey, we both can clean up. It's not a one person thing now. He does. He will wash. My husband will wash clothes until the sun comes up. I actually think he washes too much, but
right.
He'll
And it's not even like them doing something wrong thing. It's kind of like just kind of like doing what or like sitting in your role, whatever you expect your role to be. And I think a lot of times when you have 2 people, if you are kind of like type A, because I'm kind of type A, I want to know how to do everything, and I'm like, I got it. I got it. I'll take care of it. I don't like to, I'm not very good at asking for help. I'm not like, I don't want to be nagging you.
That's me all day long.
You see something, you blind? You don't see
That's me.
Telling you, I'm you and you are me. I promise.
We are the same.
I promise you. All right, so 2 more questions. So
Okay.
what would you say is your biggest success and what is your greatest failure so far?
My biggest success. That's a good one. I really need to sit down and I think I'm on the go and on the move so much. I don't even sit down to even think about that. Wow. That's a good one, girl. I don't know if I got an answer for you right now.
Like when you think about what you've been able to accomplish, because I mean, maybe to you, it just doesn't seem like much. It just seems like you're just doing your thing.
That's it.
But I think because that's really not the norm. It's not the norm. You're doing exceptional in terms of like your hustle or just going after things. A lot of people just settle for good enough.
Right. And you know what? I mean, when you say that, I think the fact that because I haven't settled, I've gone because I just know that there's more out there. I just know that this is not the end of the road. And I think just having that mindset in itself is a success, you know, because there are so many people that are just content with where they are. They, you know, don't want to go any further. They don't, you know, see that there is just more opportunity out there for you. I you know, that's
Do you think it's that they don't want to go any further, or is that they have kind of like a limited view of what's possible for them?
Well, that's definitely one thing right there. They don't have it's like a tunnel vision, I guess. I think sometimes too, who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
It plays a part in your success. You know, my husband always says, if you have a circle of friends and you are the most successful in that set of friends, then it's time to find a new set, because you should always, no, maybe that's not right. Is that making sense?
Oh, I get what you're saying. It sounds bad, but I get exactly what you're saying. Like if you're the most successful amongst your friends and you need friends, because then there's nowhere for you to go.
Yeah.
You can contribute something. They're not able to contribute anything to you.
That's it. That's what he always says. I knew I was going to jack that up, but
I know, I totally get it. I mean,
there's different levels of friendship for sure. You know, there's those movers and shakers you're going to hang out with so that you're always, you know, so that you're being fed, so that you're being motivated. But then you just have that fun set of friends. You know, you're going to have a good time.
Exactly. If you find time for it. Because I don't know. I'm like an old lady right now. I'm just like in the house. My husband is my best friend. My kids. That's my life now. And here and there I meet people, but it's like this. I feel like I haven't been meeting enough. And it's also because like my kids are young, so I'm not like going out.
Right.
I had a live-in nanny at one point, but I wasn't all that comfortable to like leave the kids. That's another story. But I just like I'm in a space in my life where I'm still kind of like trying to like be with my family, and that all the stuff that's going on kind of forces you to kind of stay in that like cocoon. And then I live somewhere where it's like it's not really the busy place or the city or anything.
Right.
So that makes it challenging, but I definitely have the desire to kind of like, you know, be part of a mastermind or find more people that are entrepreneurs and that are kind of like trying to move things along. But I definitely have seen a difference in my relationships with people because I feel like I'm doing, and they're still like right where I left them 7 years ago.
Yeah. That's definitely something to think about. And like I said, that's what brought me to the whole circle of friends thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, sad you're not trying to put people down or anything like that, but
yeah, no, I get it's like a tricky thing to explain, but you get it. Like if you get it, you get it.
right.
You get it. It's like, no offense, but this is what I'm trying to do. I'll catch you later, like birthday party.
That's
hang out. So, all right. I think you had a lot of great points. Is there anything that you kind of like want to wrap up with? Any kind of closing statements, I guess, that you want to share with people about just kind of creating a life that you love? What does that look like, and how to go about that?
This my favorite scripture. Let me start with that. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Never believe that there's something that you cannot do. You know, to me, one of my favorite quotes, and I'll probably get it wrong too, but you know, God is not going to plant a seed that he's not going to help grow. And I don't know if nobody wrote that. I might have just came up with that myself, but he's not going to plant a seed. He's not going to help grow.
Give you a desire for something and not give you
the tools, right? He's not going to not give you the tools to be successful. So just always believe in yourself. You know, surround yourself with people that are going to support your dreams, that are going to encourage you along the way. You know, when you get those naysayers, you got to go ahead and kick them to the curb. You don't need anybody whispering in your ear what you can't do. Everybody is not for you. You know, that's a lot of the reason why sometimes they say to move in silence. Because, you know, don't tell everybody what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not for you. There are some people that are actually praying for your downfall.
And some people, because they can't do it, they think you can't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, and you can do it. You just, you know, have to be driven enough to do it.
I'm not you.
I have the drive. I'm gonna make.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, nobody's gonna tell me what I can't do, and that's for sure. For sure. What I'm very persistent, very ambitious. So, you know, and I believe that, you know, even if I didn't have a whole people in my corner rooting for me, I'll still get it done. That's just how driven I am.
So I completely relate to that. And I guess the reason is just like, it's empowering to be able to shape your own destiny.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel like you're in chains or somebody's, you know, everybody's in charge of what happens to your life. It's really just kind of taking control, because I've been in situations, I've been in jobs where I felt like I didn't have any control. I felt like things are not going the way they should go, and I was powerless, and I just wanted to take my power back.
Right. Right. And, you know, I also want to leave you with, I think this pandemic should have been an eye-opener for everybody. You know, so many people lost jobs. So many people filed for unemployment. There's a lot of people, you know, that talk down on like direct sales, or, you know, having the side hustles. You know, there's so many people out there now that probably wish they had something on, you know. So hopefully this pandemic has created more girl bosses, more entrepreneurs, so that, you know, if something like this ever happens again, you'll be prepared.
Yeah, it gives you so much more peace to have options.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I really appreciate you chatting with me. It was so much fun. I did learn quite a bit, and I am just like super proud of you. Like, I feel like you're my sister, and I really love that you are taking control of your life. I want to make sure that you are taking some time for yourself, though. So
Yeah.
probably checking in, like, girl. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're setting a great example for your children and for other women that look like you, because we do need to see more of that. And just thank you for sharing and taking
You're
the time to
welcome.
chat with me. And I hope we'll talk again. Because